Well, it's a topic that impacts every single American voter. Get ready to hear a lot about grocery prices in the run-up to this year's November elections.
But what's the real deal with food prices and inflation, Dane? Now, an element of the economic debate that hits every voter. Last month, overall inflation slowed to its lowest level since March of 2021.
But grocery inflation peaked at a year-over-year increase of 13.5% in August of 2022. It has steadily fallen. Last month's report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, though, showed overall grocery prices up 1.1% year over year.
But Joseph Baladis, professor of agricultural economics at Purdue University, says individual items will still see spikes based on supply, demand, and external factors.
Egg producers, poultry producers have to destroy birds. Flocks of birds that would otherwise lay eggs and produce chicken meat. And so we have a reduction in the supply of eggs and higher egg prices.
Now, grocery prices are up about 20% since the pandemic year in 2020, which means a $100 grocery cart now costs you about $120.
And one bright spot for consumers, though, wages are growing faster than food inflation. So hopefully at the end of the day, things are kind of staying, for the most part, even right now. But a lot of Americans still feeling the pinch from this, even though, as we've talked about, overall inflation has lowered. Many Americans still saying that the economy is their number one concern.
And that's the thing. This is an issue that quite literally affects everyone. Everyone has to go out and buy groceries. Everyone has to go and feed themselves and their family. And even myself, I see when I walk in the grocery store, I shop at the exact same grocery store every single week. And sometimes I really don't know what to expect. You know, my bananas will cost a little more, a couple more cents the next day. You know, it's always that kind of push and pull that we're seeing that every single American family has been seeing. And that's why this is going to be important in this election, too, because people are watching prices and inflation to see what the presidential candidates are going to do about this.
You know, again, as we mentioned, you know, the economy and immigration are two of the top factors that a lot of voters cite as their main concern in this election. Former President Donald Trump seems to be pulling ahead over Vice President Kamala Harris as the candidate that voters see will be the strongest on economy. So, you know, big concern here. We saw, you know, eggs. Remember back during the heat of the pandemic? I mean, a carton of eggs was like, oof. So
not pretty.
I know. So like you said, the prices change constantly and Americans are just looking for some sort of relief. The inflation is cooling, but the price is creeping up. So it's hard to, you know, come to a consensus on what the direction of food prices are truly going.
And another element I've been reading about this is the idea of what some people are calling it as shrinkflation, which is you're paying the exact same money for the exact same food product, but it's a little bit smaller. It might be noticeably smaller. It might be not noticeably smaller. Yeah, or a little more air in the chip bag. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
You come to expect that, you know, half air in your bag of Fritos.
Yeah. Right? But it's stuff like that, you know. People are going out and they're expecting a certain amount of food. They're paying the same amount of money, if not more, these days. And they might not be getting as much food as they're typically used to, which is another thing to consider in this.
A lot of Americans hoping their bill at the grocery line goes down significantly and fast.